Wow, I've been talking this whole time and my mic hasn't even been unmuted. Up to a great start. That's what I do.
Your data has arrived. We are...
Wow, this is loud. Hold up. Oh, negative. First! You're first! Is that guy? It is.
We are capturing a control point.
Oh, my eyes are so burny today. What is going on? Oh, Nathan, hello. Top, hello, Deb. Red light.
Watch out for rebels.
Oh, I don't have no help. Gas, or not gas, doctor, I choose you. Oh, my thumb. What is going on, dude? Everything's broke on me today. Just rolled into a pickle. Ooh, Dwayne. Every shot. Make it! Jump, I choose you! Well, I'm glad you're back. We had more views then than we do now. A lot of good that did, didn't it? I hope that bounces over the thing. Thank you. Oh, it's gonna hit me. No! Fly now. What do I play on? A PS4X. What do you play on? Ooh, tab. Oh, he's way up in that line. Ooh, fuzz. What do I think of his signing with the Twins? A little weird that the Yankees didn't want him for that. Wasn't too much. But I'd rather have Story, but we've kind of already... I don't know how you want to put it. Backed ourselves into a corner, because now there's rumors we could want to get him on a really short-term deal. But you already got Donaldson and Falefa, so I'm like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to go to the Twins, but whatever.
We need you to capture as many control
Then
points
again,
as
you give me
possible.
$105 million or whatever for 3 years. You know what? I'll go just about anywhere you want. I don't give a fuck. Hello, Eduardo. Hello, Christian. Hello, Cowboy. Sure, I can switch to Battlefront 2 just to play with you. $151, good sir, on PayPal, and I will gladly do it. Gotta beat Brian. Nobody beats Brian. He's the undisputed heavyweight champion of this room.
Control point. Imperials fired an orbital strike.
We need all 5 control points.
From Florida. You didn't get eaten when you went there? What the hell? My eyes are killing me today, man. What the fuck is wrong with me? How do you get better with them? Keep playing them. No magic trick.
Intelligence indicates the bounty hunter Bosk is in your vicinity.
Oh, that's a teammate, but bad, homie. Sure, I'll do that just for you, buddy. Uh-oh. I didn't switch my batteries yesterday. Time out. Where are my batteries? Open, bitch. There we go.
They're taking a control point. Stop them.
Still didn't change them. Let them go as long as they can. Controller dies, it dies. Ah, Daddy! Yeah, but we already fucked ourselves by getting a shortstop and a third baseman, so. Unless they think Falefa's gonna be the catcher, maybe. Then it would work fine. I've always liked Story more than Correa. Correa is just, he'd be like A-Rod to me, where it's like, yeah, you're on the team, but I'll root for you because you're on my team, but I'm not the biggest fan. I'm a bigger fan of A-Rod now that he's not playing the game than when he was actually playing. As weird as that sounds. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
Imperials are taking the final control point. They must be stopped. Watch out for enemy soldiers.
Is that a bad guy? Yes, it is. For this game, I don't even know. I don't play Heroes. I don't know shit. Asking the wrong guy. Yo, how are you? How's Benji? Dead? Burned into probably 1,000,000 pieces at this point? Oh, God. Oh, wait, we gotta join, huh? Oops. I don't even watch G4. I used to watch it all the time, but the only reason I knew about it coming back was because Gina Darling went on the cast, apparently, or something. And I follow her from JK News, but other than that, I don't care about G4 TV. Got the internet now. Mine! Okay, yours. You can have it.
We are taking possession of a control point.
Never see you when I do a BF2 stream. You shooting at, buddy? Just all a mountain.
We've taken command of a control point.
Oh, look at the monk collar thing.
Capturing the last control point. We have been informed that Darth Vader is near your position. Be careful.
Oh great, that didn't spawn there. Fantastic. Wow, he just shot me and absolutely nothing happened. Battlefront games all love that apparently.
Control point is almost under our command.
Finding lobbies no problem, at least when I play on the weekend. Just search and there they are. There's a guy behind me. God, this game mode sucks, man. Give us Walker Assault! Shit ends in like 2 seconds. I live in Jamaica. Nope, I haven't watched any Skywalker Saga gameplay. I think I saw Han Solo shooting on Twitter because somebody randomly posted, but it was like 2 seconds. Ugh.
Take those control points for the Emperor. We now have the support of Lord Vader.
We have gained possession of a control point.
We have them on the run. You may fire when ready.
Yeah, I remember you.
We're taking hold of a control point.
There's a lot of people here. And they keep coming. There's even more. Yeah, we're going to play the new Lego game. It's pretty much all we're waiting for, hoping it can help revive this dead channel. It's a lot gonna be decided based off that game. So let's hope it goes well. I don't even know the type of multiplayer it has. Oh, we got that guy, but there's another one. What part of Jamaica? Port Royal. That's Jamaica, right? Yeah. I think. God, yes it was. Once we hit it.
Defend that control point. The rebels are taking it over.
Good evening, motherfucker. Climb! Just kidding, I can aim that. Oh, sorry, it's not Walker Assault. Why am I coming over here? Whoops.
Watch out for enemy units. The rebels are taking over a control point. We must stop them.
We must stop them. Just realized I'm capturing it up here. Didn't even know.
Rebels entering the area.
Ah! That was a rough landing.
We have been honored with the Emperor's presence.
We found way over here. Meanwhile, these guys just shooting the ground.
We are capturing the last control point. Secure the area.
Climb! We're trying to shoot them all, but our aim sucks. Oh, hello there, Luke. Did he? He's coming back? No. Which way you going, Luke?
Regroup. We've lost a control point.
I love furries. Love sucking on their furry cock. It's the only way I get pleasure in life. Yeah, what a useless role. Oh, we traded. You missed here. Take another one now.
Die just as surely.
Enemies ahead.
I wonder if your feelings on this.
Palpatine behind you!
Rebels on the run. Press the attack.
There's a Luke behind us.
Come are about to take the control point.
Like a boss. Wait, that's a bad guy? What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my, you guys are closer than I thought.
They are taking over a control point. Move to intercept.
Control point capture is underway.
I'm shooting at that guy. Good job, roll.
The rebels have us outnumbered.
Our probe droids have located Skywalker. He is nearby. Be ready to deal.
Kobe.
We're taking over a control point.
Sure, I'll do that for you.
are capturing a control point.
Get on and play it while you still got lobbies to play it in. You don't need to miss it.
Hey, come back!
The rebels have temporarily pushed us back and are taking a control point.
Oh, almost had that guy with the last shot. Yeah, sadly BF2 is getting more like that too with those rolls. Like, the rolls just don't do what they used to on that game, unfortunately. One of the best things between this game and that one was how well the roll worked, and now it's like, I don't feel like it.
Engage at will. We are in control, they are all corrupt. We're about to lose our control point to the rebels.
A lot of people here. Lot of people. Climb, you bastard! Roll, you bastard! Do something, you bastard!
We need to launch a counter.
Apparently I'm hitting an invisible wall. Okay. Battlefront's also like that, no matter what game it is. Which is better? Ooh, I don't know. That's a tough question. What do you guys think's better? Battlefront 1 or 2, you guys?
Rebel scum have pushed through and taken They have us pushed back. If we don't counter soon, the day will be lost.
Rebels in the zone.
And there's another invisible thing just blocking shots. That bad guy? Yes, it is.
Rebel troops entering the area.
Inform the Emperor that Skywalker has been defeated.
They've got the numbers.
Bumped into him. Little Raven. Wow, a pancake here. Haven't seen one of you in a while. They do exist. More pancakes. I'm hungry.
Our forces are capturing a control point. We are losing a control point.
Missing all my shots.
Our probe droids have located Skywalker. Nearby, ready to deal with
Where'd he jump out at? I don't see him! Sure, I'll do that for you. Oh my. Not a good spot for a turret. Ooh, J-Dog.
Possession of a control point.
Yeah, I love this gun. Come back. Gotta get my water. That's all Russia can do at this point. Frankly, I'm glad they're using their hypersonic missiles. We get to look at them and see what they're capable of now, but I don't know why that really matters. I thought hypersonic missiles were just mainly to avoid getting shot down, but Ukraine doesn't really shoot down too many missiles, so I don't know why they need them. Let's put it that way. Because all their missiles are pretty much in range, at least like ballistic missiles, I would imagine anyway. Maybe not like the Grads and shit like that, but another day of virtually no ground gain for the Russians, which means more and more money down the drain for a country that cannot afford it. I think Putin's getting out Game of Thrones right now, if you look at it. The grand scheme of things. Climb!
Defend that control point. The rebels are taking control of it.
I didn't mean to pick this up, but we'll take it. Get inside! Who shot me? Thank you for missing X-Wing.
Main number's been located. He is nearby. Track him down.
Any more?
The rebels will soon be forced to retreat, as expected. The final control point will soon be under our command. Over here.
What's a hero I'm hitting? Oops, like a regular. Incoming! We're going down with the ship. Yeah, but I mean, no matter how you look at it, Russia's struggling way more than we've all believed they would. I didn't think he would go in because it's so costly, and you're seeing... I was exactly right about the costly part. But even I didn't think they were going to do as bad as they're doing so far. They're making very little progress. They're only using like 50% ninja. It's like, but it's Russia. They're a superpower, and they can't even take a country that's bordering them. That's what people forget to look at. They're around the capital. Yeah, they had a fucking army position like right near it when they invaded. They had the easiest capital in the world to take in terms of distance from where they were staging. Like, they didn't have to cross the whole world to get there. Like, it's right there. And he's pretty much crippled his country now and exposed how weak they are. So he's definitely... I've always said China was more of what do you call it, threat than Russia, but I mean he's showing that now. Besides the nukes, I wouldn't even be too worried about Russia, to be honest. Oh god. But I would imagine Russia's not the best producing shit, and now they're using their hypersonic missiles here. Like, even the ballistic missiles they're using, it's not going to be easy for them to replace it, especially with the way the economy is at the moment. So them using all this is just like, they're really just digging a deeper hole, frankly. I feel like they've slowed down. They're waiting to get a big push. They realize they overextended their supply lines and Ukraine could just keep ambushing them. So now they're trying to slow down and not have that be the case. But I still feel like a really big push is going to come because they still want to end the war quick. And if it fails, I don't know. I don't know how Russia's going to be able to survive a massive failure like that. At least not Putin anyway. The country will be fine. It'll suck for a while, but Putin on the other hand, I don't know. But as you saw by that rally they had the other day, he's still got a lot of supporters over there. You can definitely see a lot of people sipping on that propaganda. If that's the case, I mean, they can't really show off right now. Like, look at my missiles. Like, yeah, bro, but your entire army hasn't done anything yet. Calm down. Like, shoot all the ballistic missiles you want. Like,
An informant has pinpointed Boba
or hypersonic missile. I think it's a ballistic. You know what I mean? It's like, it does. It's not going to be like, oh, look at Russia.
Every single control point.
They've underperformed so badly to this point. Like, holy shit. Their planning, their logistics, everything has just been horrible to this point. Again, I think they're ultimately going to pivot, and it won't be that easy, but... So Ukraine's going to have to watch out for that. Like I said, I think a big attack's getting ready to happen. If no negotiations are met, which America does not want to happen, by the way. We'll say we do, but we enjoy seeing Russia suffer. It's a good way to bring them down without having to go to a full-scale war. So we'll say, stop the war, save the kids, but... The U.S. does not want that. And from our position, I don't blame them. It makes sense. It sucks, but it makes sense. Climb! I'm Luke Skywalker! Swipe his butt. mean, I found a game no problem. Depends on where you're located and what times you're playing, but for the last like month or so, every time I get on, I find a game on the first search. And I'm sure it's not that expensive at this point, so it just depends on you, really. Wait, there's a turret? Oh, up top. Oh, hey, buddy. Ah! 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 Do it this way. Push on.
Hostiles headed our way. Forward.
That was supposed to be a jump push, but I slid. I don't got good boots. Oh, I chicken walk. Doesn't it hit nobody? Well, that's not good. Jump, Luke! Well, that didn't go according to plan. Let's go here. Oh! Melee me from over there. BF2 right there, except we're on BF1. That's the problem. Again, for those who watched before I shouldn't talk about this in case it's a video, but whatever, who cares. That's why I was so against, like, no, he's not going to invade, he's not that stupid. It does not make any sense. All the reasons he claims for invading don't make enough sense, because they're not all Nazis. Maybe a small group, but every country has those type of people, so that's not enough to invade. You're not going to gain a whole lot economically from taking Ukraine, and it's not going to be easy to hold it even if you do. He's doing the easy part right now, and he's failing at that. He's not even to the point where you have to try to hold it. That's how we fucked up in Iraq and Afghanistan. Easy to kick their ass and take it, but to hold it and have it be worth it is another story. Yeah, for all the Russian propaganda. See, I just talk shit about our own country too. Can you do that? Can you say the same about yours?
Is there to help you fight the Imperials.
Excuse me. Oh my, quite a lot of you here. So many in this one spot!
Overvet and is near your location.
This game mode fucking sucks. Gonna have to combine like 14 of those to be worth the time. Wait, what? To keep American intel away from Russia? What are we talking about? What did I miss? I'm gonna have to explain that a little more. I missed something, apparently. Whatever you want it to be, Kevin. Whatever you want it to be. Like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the U.S., how do you put it in a nice way, had a lot to do with those Maidan protests way back when, and then now it's caused a destabilization, and now Putin took the bait by invading. So I kind of feel like, honestly, he's getting out Game of Thrones right now. It's like he's crippling himself, and we don't have to really do anything other than move a few little pieces on the chessboard. Sucks to be the Ukrainians, though, but I kind of have a feeling that's what's happened at this point. And now the Ukrainians are going to fucking slaughter those troops and get bogged down. And even if they ultimately do lose, it will cripple the Russian economy so bad it's not even close to being worth it. So it's like, no matter how you look at it, Putin, unless he has some grand mastermind plan, which I think is pretty obvious at this point, he doesn't. He's taken the bait and he's lost the Game of Thrones. If you want to, you know, I always compare to that, but right now he would be Robb Stark, and the U.S. and the Allies would be the Lannisters right now, and he's pretty much might be good, but you fucked up, and now you're gonna pay for it.
As expected, we have them on the run.
Wanna be Lord Vader? Let's be Lord Vader. Why not?
You will know the power of the dark side.
Whatever you say, wannabe Vader.
Young Skywalker is in the vicinity.
Climb! Oh my, a lot of me.
Now you understand.
You got a sniper rifle for a portrait. Climb, Vader, you... Well, let's not touch just in case. Might be too early based off where we had to cut these videos. Ooh, go inside, Vader. You're just getting strafed. You slow-moving fat butt. Wait, what happened? Time out. Where'd my stream go? What? The mic's not on? Not for the record, and I can't turn it on? What the hell? What the fuck? What is going on? There we go. Wouldn't even let me turn my mic on that's on where you can hear me, but the recording it. Well, this is butchered too. Whatever, here we are. Weird, I haven't had that technical difficulty yet. That was an interesting one.
Distance will not protect you.
Don't think anything of Minecraft, kids. I don't play or watch Minecraft. Too boring.
Join me or die.
Climb it. Man, your jump is so shit in this game. Holy fuck.
There is no defense.
Take a Twillet. I'm gonna go down choking a Twillet. That's the best way.
Witness the power of the Force.
I mean, the only thing Russia has that I worry about is nukes, and I don't think they'll use them, but again, if it's true and he's been out Game of Thrones, he could be a little annoyed, like, find it! So, I don't think it'll happen, but at this point, Russia's made so many grave mistakes. It's like, ooh. And again, that's coming from someone who isn't just listening to propaganda. I don't even like our own government at times. But in this case, I think they've outplayed them. Yeah, defense system that's never been used or tested, really. Doing a one little test here and there doesn't do enough when they fire everything. No way our defense system would get everything. And that's not even factoring in that Russian missiles are probably old as fuck. And probably they wouldn't even all work. And they still would get through, probably. At least some of them would. But pretending we have a defense system that would just magically stop everything is not a good idea. It wouldn't.
They are taking over a control point.
They wouldn't just send one nuke to bomb a city. They would fucking saturate the shit out of it. You'd be getting like 10, 20 hitting New York or something. Or at least attempting to. Probably shoot some of them down. Some of them probably would fail, but some would still most likely get through. Again, I don't think it's gonna happen, but just pretending we have some magic system that stops everything. That's not the case. I don't even need to be an expert on that. That's like saying our tanks are indestructible and we can never lose one. Look at the defense systems, and it's like, yeah, it's easy to say that when they're not really getting tested a whole lot against good enemies. No, Elon Musk is gonna 1v1 Putin. Hate to break it to you, but I think Putin would kick his ass. No offense, Elon, I love you, but I think Putin fuck your ass up, homie. I mean, he fucked my ass up, so I mean, yeah. Unless, I mean, even if they negotiate a ceasefire today, and oh, Ukraine won't join NATO, and we get to keep Donetsk and Luhansk and shit like that, and Crimea, and even the territory they took connecting Crimea and those regions. It's like, you lost that many men for that? You damaged your company, or your country's reputation like that? Showing you struggle against even just the Ukrainian military? Are our rockets so effective that it's able to slow down the mighty... to some, the second most powerful nation in the world, and yet just our rockets stop you? So how would it be if we had the entire U.S. military over there with our tanks, our air power, our naval power? You wouldn't even stand a chance then if you say these rockets are stopping you so much. So it's already too costly even if he gets his way and gets those regions. So it's just it wasn't worth it no matter how you look at it. That's why I was so confident he wouldn't do it. It's like, there's nothing good comes from it in terms of what the Russians would gain. America's loving it. We're getting to watch our enemy kill himself right now and literally have to do very little. And can play innocent and scream that we don't want to see kids dying and shit. Despite us enjoying every minute of this, because this is the best way to defeat Russia and potentially avoid a nuclear war.
We are in control of the battlefield.
Putin keeps acting how NATO's the big threat and the US is the big threat, but the biggest threat is him losing control from within, and killing all your people isn't going to do good. And that propaganda machine's going to try to spin it. You already see some people sipping on it and believe in it, but he's also doing it in a country that boards them. Like, they share the same border, so it's going to be harder to keep the news from getting in compared to like doing it in Syria or wherever else he wants to fight. That complicates things, so it's just he's put himself in a bad spot. Let's put it that way. I'm glad I'm not him. Yeah, well, let's say he shoots 1,000. You stop half of them. That's still 500 nuclear bombs that would hit. That's still a loss. That defense system doesn't do fucking jack shit, to be completely honest. It makes us sleep better at night, but in reality, neither side wants that to happen because it's not worth it for the world. But unfortunately, Putin has been outplayed beautifully by the allies right now. He took the bait, and now he's gonna suffer.
Our forces are capturing a control point.
Pretty much, if the U.S. wants to maintain its top position in the world, it needs to find a way to defeat Russia and China. And I think they found a way to do it to Russia right now, and we're seeing that play out right now. It's going to take a while. But Russia's already killed itself. Now we're just sitting there looking at China like, you're next, motherfucker. Don't know if we'll win, but I'm just saying, now we're going to start focusing on them, who I think is a real threat. More so than Russia. Maybe not in terms of nukes, but in terms of everything else. China worries me more than Russia ever does. Especially with seeing how they're performing right now. It's like, wow, these guys... Ooh.
Be on the lookout for the Jedi Skywalker.
It's just so sad you see so many people like buying into the propaganda too, and it's just like, dude, like, I know Americans are also sipping on propaganda left and right. Don't get me wrong. You hear me call that shit out all the time, but some of the Russian ones doing it, it's actually sad hearing it. They're like, those are Nazis. It's like, bro, are you fucking kidding me? You really think they're all Nazis? Are you that fucking... What do you want to call it? Like, propaganded up? Like, No.
Now we will crush this.
There's Nazis in Russia and neo-Nazi groups, I'm sure, and it's like, so you should go destroy your own country because there's Nazis there? Oh, come on, man. This weakens NATO. We can't have Ukraine get in NATO, and all it does is revive NATO. Every other country, even if he succeeds in keeping Ukraine from joining NATO, every other NATO country is now going to get stronger now because they're like, all right, Russia's fucking around. So it's like, no matter how you look at it, he's just put himself in a bad position.
Control of the battlefield. This will all be over shortly.
Is that a bad guy too? Yeah, yes it was. Why are there so many? That's what I mean. The economy's taking a hit. Normally, I'm not the biggest fan of sanctions, but the amount they hit on them, it's just. And Russia's already not the best economy out there. Like, we have our own economic problems. Don't get me wrong, but damn, Russia just got fucked. It's like, oof. He was probably counting like, yeah, they'll sanction us, but I'll succeed at my goal. Which again, I don't think those goals make any sense, but from his perspective. But now he takes the sanction hit, and he didn't succeed in his goal. So it's like he's taking it in both ends right now, and it's just like, oof, that's a bad spot to be in if I were him. And frankly, if this keeps going up and they keep getting bogged down, if I'm the president, again, you know I don't like Biden very much, but if I'm the U.S. and you're playing the Game of Thrones but real life, I'm going to try to get Georgia to start an uprising, go take back those areas, Abkhazia and South Ossetia. I'll be trying to get uprisings everywhere. I try to get the Belarusian side to uprise. Sounds like there's already people like on both sides there, like, I don't know if we like each other. I'd try to get them to start an uprising too and take out one of the staging areas. Like, Putin has put himself in such a bad spot. The U.S. can bring him down pretty easily right now. Again, the only worry is the nukes. So you got to try to do it in a way that doesn't look too bad, but especially since there's been reports he's pulling out, since they're losing so many troops, they're pulling out forces from Georgia. That's a perfect time to attack then. That would open up another front, and he's already struggling in Ukraine. Make him have to defend that. And if he can't defend it and send troops, that also shows you how weak Russia is. So it's a way you can put him in such a bad position. Like, even worse than it is now. So, like, pay attention to that. You're going to start hearing of things happening in those countries. If this keeps going on, you're going to be hearing of that. And now he's calling in all his foreign fighters, because if they die, they're not Russian. He doesn't give a shit about them. It's a way to try to salvage and not lose any more Russians, or cut down on the number of losses they're having. So he's calling in everybody like, you guys die, and I'll pay you great money, which they don't have. So it's... I wish I could have a one-on-one with Putin right now, because... and get like an honest opinion, because it's like, bro, you're not in the best position at the moment. I've even been saying that. Like, where's the infantry support? Especially when you're taking cities. It's usually not tanks that take cities. It works if you do a blitzkrieg in and they capitulate, but Ukraine didn't. So now he's trapped, and frankly, those BMPs and whatever else you call them, those IFVs driving around are they're getting taken out very effectively. And if that's where their only form of infantry is, it's just, you can see how that's a problem. Like, it's just not designed right. And whether I actually partly believe him when he says he's been lied to by his generals and like spies and shit. Again, I feel like that goes back into the Game of Thrones game. I think we've been helping him. We didn't push him to this, but we definitely would help out when we realized we could. So like, feed him some of this intel, you know, shit like that. And he took the bait and went in, and now he's in a horrible spot. So it's like, ooh. Like, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of the left on here, but honestly, I feel like ever since around the Maidan protest, we've been... That behind-the-scene war is... I think the U.S. has already done a very good job on that. Which sucks for the world, because we're going to act like we're innocent, but... Let's say if it's true. Let's say if it's true. We helped make the uprisings. We knew we would destabilize Ukraine. Especially from the Russian perspective. He wouldn't like it. They'd be closer to us, and that would ultimately force him to go in. And now they're fighting and dying in Ukraine, and Ukrainians are dying, and we're screaming how bad it sucks, and all the children, But it's exactly what the U.S. wants, because it's taking out Russia, and that's where you get to the tough parts of politics, where it's like, that is a way of beating the Russians, but you are also crippling and killing a lot of innocent people in the process, so that's the big decisions no one ever talks about. But again, you have the lesser of two evils at that point. So is it... You would have to look at it from that perspective of... Well, yeah, Ukrainian civilians are dying, which sucks. But we can use that to defeat Russia. Or we let them keep going, and eventually a bigger war might come out where even more civilians get affected. It goes back to that whole argument of, should we have nuked Japan at the end of World War II? Which I agree we should have. But most people don't like that. They're like, oh, nukes are bad. They kill, what, 200,000 people? But if we had to invade Japan, we would have lost probably over 1 million men. Japan would have been literally raped. Like, the things our soldiers would have done to them, like, in terms of the civilian population, from killing and raping and just pillaging, would have been way in the millions. The British would have probably lost in the millions, too, because they were going to partake in this invasion. So, yeah, you did just nuke 2 cities and lose 200,000, but in the grand scheme of things, you actually... prevented a lot of death and some stuff worse than death, especially to the civilian population. In particular, I'm talking about the female population of Japan. You know damn well we would have fucking raped the living shit out of them. So it's kind of along those lines where it's a little different now, but it's like, yeah, Ukraine might be suffering, but in the grand scheme of things, taking out your enemy might be the lesser of two evils. Taking them out this way, which sucks, and I'll probably get in trouble for saying it. But you got to look at it from the government side, the way they're looking at it. Now, the only thing is we got to make sure he doesn't go full retard and go nuke everybody. That's where you can't push him to that point. So that's what I think a lot of the people who are discussing this, where they aren't factoring in a lot of things. Ooh, Jose. Because you'll still see a lot of people saying we should have never nuked Japan, and it's... I don't mean to be mean, but they really didn't... I don't even want to say study. They don't know what they're talking about at the end of the day. Let's put it that way. They're like, oh my god, so much senseless death. It's like, do you realize how many people would have died if we invaded it, though? From both sides, not just us. In general, like... So it's like, you can't say you care about civilians when you want us to not nuke them, and then you ultimately would result in millions of them dying instead of a couple 100,000. And that's only from the Japanese. I'm not even factoring in American or British deaths. So it's like, it's one of those hard decisions, but again, why not everyone can be a politician? Because you got to make some very tough calls, you know what I mean? This is where they come in, but we're the good guys. We don't rape people. Oh, I'm sure that's the case. Yeah, we wouldn't. All those fucking hot Japanese women walking around. I'm sure those millions of U.S. troops would not have whipped their dick out and shoved it inside of them and then shot them afterwards. No, we would never do that. We're the good guys, you guys. Remember, we're the United States. We're the good guys. We would never do that. If that's your logic, like, you don't know what you're talking about, homie. You gotta be real with yourself. I mean, pretty much, that's the way I keep saying it. Like, it's right now the U.S. is Tywin Lannister. I don't want to compare the Ukrainians to the Freys, because they're way better than the Freys. I mean, they're kicking ass right now, but if we're comparing it to that, they would be them, where they're going to defeat Russia. They get all the credit and the glory, but behind the scenes, the U.S. has also put some pieces to make it lead down this road, if you know what I mean. Not taking credit for it, but they, like, hey, we can make this happen, let's do that. You know, so it's a lot going on behind the scenes right now. It's not as black and white as the media says it is, let's put it that way. It's not about being just for war. If you want the U.S. to maintain its position as a top country, they're going to have to do things from their standpoint that aren't good. So is Russia and so is China. It's just the way it is. And acting like the world's changed and there's not going to be war anymore, that's a delusional mindset. Nothing has changed in the history of the world, and it's not near changing either. The only thing that stopped wars or massive wars recently was nukes. So it's not about, you don't want peace. It's easy to scream peace, but that's not the way the world works, unfortunately. It would be nice if it is and we wouldn't need weapons, but it's not the way it works, though. So it's not even about being for war or not. It has nothing to do with it in reality. Don't talk about the war, then say something interesting that makes us talk about something else. Not, what's your favorite hero? What do you think of this game, Ninja? Is it better than BF1 or better than BF2?
We need to gain control of this area. Capture and hold as many of the control points as you can.
I don't know who has better hackers. Right now, it seems like the whole world's united against Russia. So even if they, let's say, between just the U.S. military side of things and Russia, let's say Russia had better hackers, but now, even if that is the case, now they're getting hit from everyone. So it's like, oof, even if they're better, there's just, you know, there's a lot hitting back. So it's, either way you look at it, it's not good either. So this is going to be the most hacking that's probably ever been done in the recent history. Like, it's happening right now. And I feel like the Russian hackers are going to be working overtime trying to keep the propaganda machine up and keeping, not even about like spreading Russian propaganda, but just keeping our side's views out of the Russian populace's eyes, you know what I mean? There's a lot going on behind the scenes on both sides, just put it that way. No, history classes are not teaching anything properly. Trust me, I love history, and they even shit they tell you the truth on, they how do you put it? Hitler's bad! I'm like, okay, but there's so much more to that war, but again, they're just kind of jumping through history to, like, give you all the fucking bullet points, but they don't go into detail on any one too greatly. And again, Hitler was bad. I'm not saying he wasn't, but there's so much more to World War II than just Hitler being bad. You know what I mean? Not gonna go according to plan. I threw that a little too far away. Yeah, Spaceballs. That's my favorite Star Wars movie too. He's already designed for new players. Most of those people don't even know they're killing bots, but they feel like they're doing something, so they're all excited.
We did it. Darth Vader has been defeated.
Nope, have not played Elden Ring and don't plan on it. It's not a game I would stream and really get much out of, and I don't really plan on playing it off stream, so there's no real point in getting it.
Heads up, we got company. We're taking a control point.
Ah, cool, firing in the log. Jump! No, don't miss every shot. Okay, I surrender, dude. I just give up. Yeah, this is gonna be the next front line right here. Cyber warfare. It's going on right now like crazy.
Imperial stormtroopers are taking over a control point. We must stop them.
See if we can thread the needle. Ah! Oh, we did get him. It was just late. Okay, we did hit him. It wasn't that hard. I thought we had to like aim through more trees, but it was either way better than this. Is there a chicken walker back here? Is that what I just saw shooting?
We've been tracking Boba Fett, and he's near your location.
Yeah, would have looked cool if it died, but obviously. Well, that's the thing. I agree, but a lot of people don't have those mindsets. I hate using the term because a lot of people overuse it, but the sheep of the world, and that goes for everybody on every side, all believe their country's the good guys, and it's like, some are good, better than others. Don't get me wrong, but the U.S. has done some things too that are not very nice.
Lost the control point.
Let's put it that way. Let's put it this way, actually. If Russia did some of the things we did, it would be all over the media like, oh my god, they're killing kids. But when we do it, don't talk about it. There you go, for all those Russians thinking I'm just sipping on American propaganda. I think that the only thing the Russians are doing differently than we would if we were the ones going full invasion into Ukraine is we wouldn't be using MLRS rockets to bomb the city at random. Like, we would be a little more precision guided. We would kill our fair share of civilians, but we wouldn't be going full retard, if you will, if you want to use that saying, in terms of bombing the cities. But again, we would be killing plenty of civilians along the way. Probably some of them would be on purpose, but nobody ever want to talk about that. In terms of just having these fucking grads firing into a city at will, I don't think we would be on that level. Still, at the end of the day, civilians are dying though, so still bad no matter what way you look at it. Like potatoes. I'd vote for potatoes.
Our forces are capturing a control point.
Lord Vader is present. We have to defeat him.
Oh my. Die, you big bitch! Didn't work. We're the most powerful country the world's ever seen, but that doesn't necessarily make us the good guys. But again, I'm in the U.S., so I'm on the U.S. side, of course, but at least I'll be a realist about the situation. don't play on the United States. Well, I mean, according to them, they've shown, maybe not genocide on that level, but they've said a lot of those Ukrainians were just completely murdering Russian people in the eastern regions of Ukraine, which I'm sure has happened to some degree on some scale because there is a war going on there. And like I said, wars, they're not pretty. People are killing each other, sometimes not justified either, but his claims of them all being Nazis is just ridiculous, frankly. But sadly, a lot of people really believe that. And you can tell because you can see a lot of people coming in saying that from a troll side. And you can see some people who just genuinely believe it. And I'm like, that is actually very sad. It's like, damn. But again, our side has propaganda too. And people believe it all the time, thinking they're right. And in reality, they're not, so... I mean, one of the main reasons he wants to... We've said it before. The main reason he keeps bringing up the Nazi side of things is because the same way we always talk about Russia being the big bad guy, they're trying to appeal to their young soldier base. Like, you want to be like your grandpa? He went and fought the Nazis, dude. What a fucking legend. We got Nazis here, too. You want to go fight them? Let's go fight some Nazis, bro! So he's playing to that, and it's just sad that some of them, not all of them, but some of them truly believe it. It's like, bro, dude, it's not the case, man. But he's just using that to try to... It's a morale booster, if you will. Get people on the side of we should go kill them. They're Nazis. My grandpa fought against Nazis. I don't like Nazis. Look what they did to our country 70 years ago. Let's go fuck up some Nazis. And it's just not the way it is, unfortunately. And now there's a war for it, so it's like, ugh. Yeah, that's what I mean. We would use more guided munitions in the case of bombing Mariupol. And civilians would die, unfortunately. It is a siege, after all. Usually, you don't want to be in any city under siege, whether that's 3,000 years ago or now. It's just not the best place to be, let's put it that way. But some of the stuff they're using is clear. It's just random bombardment. Whatever gets hit, gets hit. It's more of a World War II approach to taking a city. In an age where there's more guided munitions that can help avoid, to a certain extent, civilian losses. But he doesn't seem to be wanting to do that. He's like, fuck it, just bomb them. And again, Russia's military is very heavily focused on artillery. That's one of their strong suits. And unfortunately, that artillery is not all guided. So you're gonna get a lot of those Katyusha-looking rockets just bombarding the living shit out of people. Where the fuck? Oh, they're up top. I'm like, where the fuck is everybody? What's the girl in my avatar? That's my girlfriend. Just kidding. I don't know what girlfriends are. What are those?
Over a control point. Move to intercept.
What is happening? I'm vibrating. Not ideal. Oh, that's true. I mean, Hitler lied about a lot of the shit going on in the Sudetenlands and all the places. He was like, oh my god, they're killing Germans. How dare they? We need to help the people. Same thing Putin did. So, it's funny. He's calling them Nazis. But, again, just because he's using this tactic doesn't make him a Nazi. But in recent history, that is a prime example of him copying someone. It's like, you're the one using the same tactic as Hitler. In terms of that, anyway. So it's like, But again, everybody lies to go into wars. Weapons of mass destruction. Like, oh, you know what? Second thought, they don't got none. But at least our country ultimately admitted it. They got what they wanted and admitted it to play innocent. But will Putin ultimately admit that? Let's say 20 years from now, will he ever be like, I don't even know how old he is if he would survive that long. But you know what I mean. Would he be like, yeah, I was wrong. They weren't Nazis. Like, I don't see that. I mean, maybe, but I don't see it. mean, I wouldn't say he's on World War II's level of bombing cities, but it's closer to that than we were in Iraq and Afghanistan. And again, we killed our fair share of civilians. Don't think I'm trying to say we didn't. For all the Russians who are going to come in here and try to think I'm covered up atrocities. And no, not what I'm saying.
We are losing a control point.
The hell, Tyler Wade's batting right now? I know that guy. Should be on our team. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll rape Poland together, and then they just stare at each other afterwards like, ah! No, we don't trust each other. But yeah, we'll rape them together. Just like walk away slowly judging each other like, yeah, have to kill each other one day. What? I'm on a speeder bike? How the fuck did I get on a speeder bike? Fuck it. God wills it. We don't know how to drive. I don't get how a proxy bomb would kill me, though. If it takes a time to, like, detonate, wouldn't I fly past where it detonated and be out of the range? Just saying. Just saying. I'm actually surprised my batteries haven't died yet. I haven't switched them yet. Don't even know why I'm shooting at that guy. We're not going to hit him.
We're gaining command of a control point.
Grab me some lunch. I'm hungry.
You have an opportunity to finally make that Wookiee pay. Do not fail.
How am I not shooting you? But I shoot you when you're behind me? Oh, Battlefronts are fucking weird. I think that's one of the reasons Poland's going so hard in the paint and supporting Ukraine. He's like, bro, I've been in that position before, dude. I got your back, homie. I mean, and to be fair, we fucking... The Allies didn't do him any favors in World War II. Along with Czechoslovakia. Can't say that name, it's hard for me to say, but you know what I mean. We did some pretty fucked up things leading up to that war, but we forgot about it. Hey, wait, there's only gonna be females left in Russia? Hold up! I might need to be moving to Russia there, dude. Hold up, I like the way you do math. I'm like, you're not wrong. I mean, to be fair, $5 million to kill Putin is not, I wouldn't even consider that. Not that I'm an assassin by any means. My fat ass would get killed instantly, but I wouldn't do that if I'm an assassin. For $5 million? No, thank you, dude. That's not life-changing wealth. You need life-changing wealth if you want. If I'm an assassin to get me to go after him, that is not even close to life-changing wealth. Especially for the risk that's gonna have to be taken to get it, like that. Maybe if they pool all their money together, maybe all the people put in those bounties. But yeah, no, I ain't doing that shit. Fuck that. Yeah, that'd be me in Russia. You wanna come to America? You suck pee-pee? I bring you to America? And see, you all think I hate Russians. I don't hate Russians. Oh, I thought you were going for that. Why don't you go for it?
Now have the support of Lord Victor.
I mean, that's true. You see that in every war. People hide their equipment next to military bases. And I'm looking at a certain Middle Eastern set of conflicts. But at the same time, to be completely honest, I've seen a lot of our side of propaganda in this war trying to hype that up. Like, look, they're hiding next to civilian buildings. Where the fuck are they gonna be, dude? They're in a city. Of course they're gonna be next to civilian buildings. How do you defend a city while being in a city and not have your equipment next to some sort of civilian building? That is just, like, ridiculously stupid for people buying into that. Like, oh my god, how dare they? Like, where are they gonna go? They're in a city. That's what happens in city warfare. Why are they fighting by a city? Because that's the strategic point to defend. Of course they're gonna be in a city. So, like, I'm even defending Russia on that one. Like, where do you park the tanks? Like, I need to take the city with these vehicles, but I can't put the vehicles in the city. Like, what are they supposed to do? Like, that's where people who don't know anything about war are talking about it. And again, I don't even hardly know anything, but compared to them, like, at least I'm logical about it. Like, well, where would they go? Like,
We are capturing a control point.
and like, I mean, I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but everyone's mad that he's not letting the civilians out of Mariupol and not letting food shipments in. Like, how dare you? That's what you do in a siege, though. But times have changed. Nothing has changed, people. We are the same fucking humans we were thousands of years ago. That's what you do in a siege. That's why civilians need to get out of the city. Again, Russia didn't let them, but I mean, if you're really looking at it from only a military perspective and don't care about people, that makes sense. Because now they're going to be eating up your own army's resources, the defenders' food, which means the city can hold out for less time. Like, that is how sieges work. Like, it sucks. But so I'm not saying it's a nice tactic, but it's a tactic that's been used throughout history. And acting like we've changed as humans and shouldn't do that is, I mean, we haven't changed. Let's get off of that. We have not changed. Neither the Americans haven't, Russia hasn't, nobody has. Now, maybe if America were besieging, we would have to, for the sake of keeping our reputation up, do it, but it's not because we care about the civilians. They'd be doing it because we don't want to ruin our reputation. Russia, on the other hand, does not care about the reputation, obviously. So it's a little different, but that's where people get a little delusional here, where it's like, oh my god, it's like, what was the battle with Caesar in, I mean, I should know this, I know like everything Roman. What's the guy's name? Big battle, end of the Gallic Wars. Fuck, I'm having a blank, I know this shit. I promise you I know this shit. What is his name? Vercingetorix, or am I thinking of somebody else? But anyway, when he besieged the main city that I can't remember the name of, the Gauls were inside the city, then Caesar put a defensive wall around it to keep everyone in. They couldn't get food and water. So then the Gauls sent out the civilians, like, hey, could you let them through? They're innocent. And he's like, no, fucking stay there. But then when he sent the civilians back to the city, the Gauls couldn't let them in either because he knew it would eat up the defenders' food supply and make the siege last for less time. So they both just let the civilians sit there between the two embattlements and just starve and die, which is horrible. Horrible. Could you imagine that? But that's what they had to do because it was a siege. It's like, and we have not changed from that point. We're the same fucking humans, but now we have weapons and bombs and guns. That's the only thing that changed, but it's like, it's not good, but it's what happened, you know? And unfortunately, so many people don't like studying history, which is why I keep saying history is a way of showing you the future, because we have not changed throughout all of our years here. Technology's changed, but we haven't as humans, and it's so everyone's so shocked that he's doing that, but that's literally been done by countless different people, and some we would consider good guys, might I add, doing that. So it's like that. It's not nice, but it's, you know, welcome to warfare. It's a horrible place. Let's put it that way. But you know, again, I'm not defending Putin in any way. I'm just being logical here. Like, it's what happens. You want to take the city with as least casualties as possible, so you starve them out. And if there's a bunch of civilians eating up the supplies of food and water, that timer gets shorter, which means less losses on your military side. You know, it's sad, but that's why I would hate to be in Mariupol right now. I feel so bad for those people. They're just trying to live their life, and now they're under a siege. It's like, it's such a bad spot to be in.
We need to gain control of this area. Capture and hold as many of the control
They
points
couldn't
as
do it
you
to
can.
Stalingrad in World War II. The Nazis couldn't because they couldn't surround the city. The Russians held the other side. So they could just keep funneling in troops. But if they were successful in surrounding the city and didn't let in reinforcements, most likely the city would ultimately fail. But again, they didn't completely cut off Stalingrad so they could keep getting in. And in the case of Mariupol, they're surrounded at this point. So they're in a worse position than Stalingrad. Elysia, there you go. Yeah, at least I got the name right. I was like, I know this shit, dude. I literally read his fucking book. And I'm like, why can't I remember this shit? I'm horrible with names late. Swear to God, I'm getting fucking old. That's a crazy ass battle though to look at. Like, how the fuck did you win that, Caesar? But he did somehow.
We're taking hold of a control point.
Don't even know why I'm shooting at the guy. We're not gonna get him. Don't even know why I'm shooting anyway. I'm not hitting anything, so. I mean, name a siege in ancient warfare from any side that didn't go too bloody, where they actually had to get to the point of fighting, not where the army pulls up and they just capitulate. It's not pretty no matter what side you look at, really. There might be a couple cases, but for the most part, you don't want to be in a city under siege. Let's put it that way.
Imperial forces are about to take a control point.
Like, you're already seeing the same shit that's happened throughout history. Like, you're seeing footage of looters getting tied to, like, telephone poles because they got caught stealing. And again, you want to go back to Game of Thrones. Bronn called that shit perfectly. How's thievery down? We just rounded up all the known thieves and got rid of them, because that's what happens in siege. They're gonna steal all the food. So it's like, you got it's just, you know, it's a horrible spot to be in, but unfortunately, that's just the way the world's been throughout history, and I don't see it changing anytime soon, unless we all get nuked and die. I mean, maybe then we won't be around to do it anymore, but you know what I mean. And frankly, how do I put this nicely? The worse the war goes for Putin, the more and more civilians are gonna die. Let's put it that way. The more he's gonna be forced to just bomb cities, and from his perspective, he's being forced to. He's trying to salvage his reputation as a strong military power, and so far he's failed at that. And now he's gonna have to destroy his "I care about civilians" image, which we don't really have an image of that. I never really thought of Putin as a loving family man. Let's put it that way. But it's only gonna get worse. The longer it goes on, the worse it's gonna get for the civilians, which sucks to be them. That's why I felt so bad, because I watched some YouTubers who stuck around and they live in Kiev. Or did. I don't think they live there anymore, obviously. But, like, I was up with them to the same point. Like, Russia's not going to invade, dude. Don't. But the moment you saw the tanks cross in from Belarus, I'm like, dude, you need to get out. Just move now. If you're not staying to fight, get out. Let's put it that way. Like, just don't stick around. But unfortunately, not everyone has that luxury, you know? Not everyone has the money to get out. Not everyone has the places to go. Those are the people that really just, man, that's a tough spot to be in. I hope I'm never in that position. But if you had the means to get out and you're not fighting, I definitely would recommend getting the fuck out of Dodge. Like, he won't bomb the cities, and I was like, he was saying that for a couple days after the invasion stuff. I'm like, dude, the Ukrainians didn't capitulate, and the longer this goes on, the more likely that's gonna happen. And the guy I was watching also had a he lived in Kiev, but he also has an apartment in Kharkiv, and it's like, yeah, look at Kharkiv, bro. That'll happen to Kiev if the war gets to that point. So, like, you just get the fuck out of Dodge if you're not fighting, dude. Don't get stuck, Luke! We've been using Luke a lot today, side note. What? I killed a droid but not the fucking guy? What? You just don't make sense. I mean, that's what's hard, though. Like, I try to study history from a non-biased perspective, but everyone's biased at some point, you know? But at least try, you know? But especially in schools, it's definitely a one-sided thing. I know, the Romans just... that battle is crazy when you think about it. It's like, those motherfuckers... Caesar always would get in trouble, but his troops were just so good. Like, it was able to weasel his way out of it. That's like such a crazy battle to study. Like, oh no, there's another army. We'll make another fucking wall, bitch. Ha! We'll trap ourselves too. Like, what the fuck?
Take out the Imperial bounty hunter. It's Zegdok.
Move me some. Yeah, we're back on the Star Wars grind.
What are you doing?
I mean, Putin got a lot of bombs, but again, the longer it goes on, the more money he's spending and losing, and the more Russians die, the more likely people are going to take him out from within. And again, that's his biggest threat. I mean, pretty much this is a modern-day story of David and Goliath. Like, if Ukraine can just hold on and not, what do you want to call it, negotiate, they could cripple Russia more than it's already been crippled. Like, every day that they hold on hurts Russia more than it hurts Ukraine. And again, that sucks to say because Ukrainian civilians are dying, but in the grand scheme of things, they are really crippling Russia right now. And again, part of that's his fault. He just completely should not have invaded. He got some bad intel, let's put it that way. He should have still been able to tell, man. He worked in that line. He worked in the KGB. He should have tried to. He should have been better at understanding that people were probably lying to him, or don't start sipping your own propaganda. You can preach the propaganda, but you need to still be a realist. You don't have to tell your people that, but you need to know. And he put himself in a... I don't think it's winnable for Russia at this point. They could take all of Ukraine. They could completely defeat the Ukrainian military, but holding it and the cost to take it is not worth it. So altogether, I would ultimately chalk this up as a loss, and Putin made a costly mistake, one that I don't think any country's seen, or any major country's seen in quite some time. He's put himself in such a bad spot. That's what I mean. I don't think people understand how much history is like panning out before our eyes right now. It's like he's just crippled Russia. He shot himself by this. I'm the same way. I don't know how to say your name. Yeah, whatever your name. That's the only subject I enjoyed studying in school. And even then, I'd go home and just watch the History Channel back when they actually fucking taught history. But it's crazy because so much of the same stuff is happening that's happened throughout so many different civilizations, and a lot of the people on both sides, Americans included, are just screaming out the top of their lungs what needs to be done, and they have no fucking idea what they're talking about. And it's the same thing that's happened. I mean, just pick a civilization, dude. It's the same shit, you know? I mean, Putin should not have invaded. That's why I was against him. Or, not against him. I was just like, I don't think he will. It was going to be costly, and the only way he could get away with it in kind of... I mean, even this would be costly, but is if Ukraine capitulated and just surrendered, which I didn't think was going to happen. And there were some people being like, oh, well... You know, ultimately I was wrong about that. He did, but now we're seeing why I didn't think he would. He's fucked himself up. But... there were people like, oh man, Russia's so much stronger. I go, they are. There's no doubt. They got a way bigger military. But Ukraine isn't how they were in 2014. They've been in constant war that people just apparently forgot about, but I didn't. It's just, like, they have a lot of combat experienced troops now because Russia didn't take them right away. So it's like, and now they have the backing of the U.S., which is going to give them even more rocket. Not even just the U.S., the allies in general, I should say. It's like, as long as they don't capitulate, Russia's going to take losses. I didn't even think they'd do this bad. But it was going to be a costly affair. And I was like, I just didn't see him doing that. I thought Putin was a lot smarter than he is. And he's made a big mistake. It's like, ooh. Again, maybe he knows some shit. Well, obviously he knows shit I don't. But maybe he's got some grand plan up his sleeve, but I don't see it. But again, I'm not an expert. I'm just some fat guy who watches a lot of history shit, so. But as far as I can tell, he's made a costly mistake just now that I don't think he'll walk away. Russia will be, ultimately they'll be fine. We're not going to take over Russia and make it the United States. That's not happening. But in terms of Putin's and his people being the leaders, I don't think they're going to be able to walk away from this one. Won't happen overnight, but it's gonna. I think this is the beginning of the end for that group of people. And again, we won't be the ones to kill them. It's going to be the Russian people who do it. They finally stand up and be like, "This is fucking. You're crippling our country and our people for things that just aren't worth it." You know. It's not like World War II when the Nazis invaded and it was like, "Holy shit, they're going to destroy Russia unless we fight," and they're raping and killing our civilians. And that had a cause to unite them. This, he's trying to with propaganda, and it's not going to work in the long run. Same thing goes with us trying to invade Iraq and Afghanistan. You can get people behind the war, but it's at the end of the day, they're not going to kill us all, and they're not going to destroy our country, so it's harder to get people backing it, you know? So it's just, he put himself in a way worse position than we did even in Iraq and Afghanistan, honestly. Because even in Iraq and Afghanistan, we were able to completely take those countries. Now, again, we still had the guerrillas and everything and the terrorists to fight, but in terms of taking out the military, we did that rather easily in the grand scheme of things. Especially compared to how he's doing in Ukraine right now. We didn't get bogged down like that. So it's like, oh. Again, I said it earlier, he's on the easy part of the invasion, which is taking it, and he's already bogged down. He hasn't even got to the hard part trying to hold it. Once he takes it, so it's just a bad spot to be in. So if you're on the side of you want Putin out of power, yeah, there you go. He's doing it to himself. I think a little bit of Game of Thrones helped get him to that decision, and now the U.S. is just sitting back watching them and pretending we give a shit about civilians as we watch one of our arch enemies defeat themselves, essentially. Putin planning to save us from the New World Order? Well, if he's doing that, he's doing a horrible job of it.
They've got us outnumbered.
I mean, most of the history stuff I learned, I just learned from myself, watching YouTube and finding channels who don't seem to be biased. Of course, everyone is a little biased somewhere along the line, but you can kind of compare notes and be like, like Caesar. I love the Roman history, but Caesar always overhyped his own numbers. So like, and just because I enjoy Roman history and Caesar, I don't just agree with everything Caesar said. I'm like, he clearly did not fight an army that big. You're like, the way I think he did it, and a lot of the numbers he said he defeated, it wasn't just the fighting force. He was counting in the civilians and the women and children that were not combatants, but he would count them into the overall number so he could say he defeated an army that size. When in reality, let's say he defeated an army of 100,000 where there might have only been 30,000 combatants. That's a case of, even though the history's written by the victor, you can still kind of be like, yeah, you're exaggerating your numbers, homie. Let's be real here. Like, come on. So I mean, they invaded Ukraine in 2014 after the Maidan protest or uprising, which I think the U.S. had something to do with. Not saying they're the sole reason, but they definitely we had our fucking hands in the the chess game, if you will, or the Game of Thrones side of things. But I mean, he took Crimea. I mean, a lot of the people like bitching right now, like screaming like they know what's going on, don't even know Crimea used to be Russia until recent history, where they just took it from them. But again, the Russians will say, this used to be Russia. Yeah, but things change, dude. Same with Mexico. California used to be Mexico, and yet look at it now. Borders change, you know. In this case, now the more recent attack is Russia took it. So of course we're going to focus on them. It's the way it works. It's not a legitimate reason to start acting up. And frankly, if you're a Russian, you have that opinion, like, we lost all this in the Soviet Union. This was Russia. You're going to cripple your own country if you do that. You've already stalled on just Ukraine. Now try doing that to Moldova and all the other ones. You're not in a position to do that. So even if you think that, you need to be real and, like, chill the fuck out, because it's not going to work. Not anytime soon, anyway.
Need to regroup and launch a counteroffensive.
No, I wish I was in the CIA, though. It'd be fun. Get to know what's going on behind the scenes. I mean, we could have fought on more fronts on the Middle East, and in terms of defeating their armies, we could have, but we're not in a position to rule those people. There's just too many cultural differences and shit like that. It's just not the same as, what do you call it? It's just taking a country. Like, I can't describe it. Like, taking a country is easy, but holding it is not. Especially when there's such differences in culture, and again, everyone acts like, oh, everyone's equal and shit. Yeah, but that's not the way everyone thinks, though. You can have that, but they're very different culturally than we are, and trying to, a foreign outside power trying to rule them is very difficult. So in a way, Ukraine has it, or Russia has it a little easier with Ukraine, since they're so similar, but even then, he's struggling on the eastern side, which is more sides toward Russia, and he hasn't even got to the more Ukrainian and western siding territories, so it's like, I mean, I saw people saying that last night. He had a big rally or something in like some stadium, and I don't know if it's true. I'm just saying what I heard, but people said it was, they randomly cut the cameras quickly off of Putin, but I don't know if it's true or not. I was not watching it, but I did hear people saying that, so I don't think he's dead. I think we would know if he's dead by now. There'd be some shit going on, dude. But whenever Putin does get taken out by somebody, that's going to be the closest to a nuclear disaster we ever had. Let's put it that way. More than the Cuban Missile Crisis, probably. Especially if the people who killed them, like, how do you describe it? If there's a organized attempt from his generals and his loyalists, like, all right, dude, he's crippling us, we got to take him out, and they can maintain power themselves, that can help avoid a nuclear catastrophe. But now, if his inner circle stays loyal, and, like, let's say just one of his guards kills him without the backing of a lot of people, that is dangerous, because those people could still be on the side of Putin and, like, oh my god, the CIA did this and shit, and it's like, oh fuck, like, that, you just put us in an awkward position, like, we're getting closer to a nuclear war. Again, I don't think it will happen, but it will, depending on how this plays out, there is a possibility of raising the stakes. So again, if you're rooting for Putin to get overthrown, don't hope it's some one random brave guy. You gotta hope there's essentially a coup that takes him out, and there's enough people who can maintain power and keep that vacuum, the power vacuum, to a minimum. But if just one random guard does it, uh-oh. Again, you could have one random guard do it, and the higher-ups ultimately like, all right, it's done, just let's not fuck things up. But if they're sipping on their own propaganda and on Putin's side, and that a lone guy takes them out, that could cause more problems. But again, a lot of people aren't thinking about this type of shit. They're just screaming, you know, like. Exactly, Peter, exactly. Like, hey, he's fucking up, man. Let him fuck up. It's not a wrong way to look at it. Oh my god, look at all these teammates. It's like, there's nobody over here. Now there's like 14 of them. I think Luke's saying the same thing. Like, what the fuck? There's so many of them now.
Rebels ahead. Skywalker has been defeated. Rebels out.
No, nuclear war doesn't benefit anybody. Especially full-scale nuclear war. That's the one I'm talking about. That one doesn't benefit anybody. This is where some guy in Brazil's like, but, or I shouldn't say Brazil. I just mean any other country that's not the U.S. or Russia. We just use Brazil as an example. But like, oh, that doesn't affect us if they completely destroy each other. Yeah, the fuck it does, dude. That affects everybody on this planet. I don't die in the nuclear blast. Like, oh, okay, you don't. But the whole world has just changed. Probably not for the better.
The rebels are securing the final control point. We cannot let that happen.
Not pro-nuclear war, but pro-us nuking Japan in World War II, absolutely. That didn't also have the consequences of a global nuclear war happening. That's the difference between us nuking them and nukes starting flying now, where everybody has nukes. It's a completely different ball game at this point. Anyone who tells you the nuking of Japan was not a good idea does not know what they're talking about. Then explain how we would have taken the country. They're like, oh, well, they were on the verge of surrender anyway. That's why they didn't surrender after the first nuke. It took another one. They were not on the verge of almost surrendering, dude. The fuck are you talking about? Hey, let me get out of California first, but I'm down, man. Fuck these people. That'd be fucking hilarious. Could you imagine Mexico sends out an army? We're here to take California back. Like, what? Really? Alright, dude, go ahead and try, man. But like, that'd be hilarious. Like, what? A Mexican army just crossed into San Diego. Like, what? Like, okay. What's that fucking meme with that basketball player? Like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what? Like, alright, dude. Ooh, Watson. That's the thing they don't teach you when they talk about, oh, the Japanese were on the point of surrender. That's why when the fucking emperor finally surrendered, they literally had a fight outside of where he was, what was it, radio broadcasting it? Because some loyalists, or, well, I shouldn't say loyalists, I guess they wouldn't be emperor loyalists at that point, were trying to fight their way in to stop them from surrendering. Yeah, they were on the verge of surrender, clearly. Even if some of them were, there was going to be plenty of them left to fight. Like, again, that's just where people who really don't know what they're talking about start talking. That's why I just get so irritated with that. It's like, dude, that's not even close to the case. Like, what?
Our spies are telling us Vader is nearby. Be alert.
Our army was so much better. It's like, yeah, we were. Doesn't mean we're not gonna fucking lose a bunch of people in the process, only. How many people did we lose on Okinawa alone? Some tiny little fucking island? I forgot the numbers, but it was a shit ton. Now you try to do that over all of Japan? Yeah, good luck, motherfucker. Oh, I'm glad I'm not one of the soldiers having to invade that country. What the hell is that thing? I mean, even if there wasn't radiation, it would already change the world as two of the superpowers getting taken out. Like, just economically, that would change things. And that's without nuclear winter and radiation traveling and shit. Like, it's... Again, you gotta be careful, people. That's all I'm saying. Some people say some shit that is just completely fucking dumb. Let's put it that way.
The Imperials are overwhelming us. We're losing.
You know what? I wouldn't necessarily disagree with them. Again, I've never been. I can't say. I'm just an armchair historian here. Not the YouTube channel. I like that channel, by the way. But I just sit here and watch shit. But they've been bred to fight. Not even in terms of training. I'd say the Russians are probably better trained. But in terms of just the will to fight, Taliban were some bad motherfuckers. Let's put it that way. Like they enjoyed killing Americans. Not even saying they shouldn't. I'm just saying, especially when you bring religion into that too. Like, religion's a powerful thing, man. Playing this game because Brian donated for it. Only time you ever see me play this game is because Brian donated for it. I find the game no problem on it, but again, I only really play on the weekends, and it depends on where you're located. But I find the game no problem. I mean, there's no doubt. It's gonna sound stupid. I know people are gonna say I'm just sipping propaganda. We save more lives by nuking Japan than invading. Like I said earlier, there would be millions of losses on the US side, millions of losses on the British side, millions of losses militarily to the Japanese. But all these fucking civilian-loving people that scream about it, no civilians should die. What do you think's gonna happen if we invade their country? We're just gonna, oh no, there's a civilian! It's the conclusion of a war. Our veterans and troops are on the verge of defeating their enemy, and they're in the heartland. I'm sure they're gonna be treated nicely. Let's put it that way. Some delusional motherfuckers if you think otherwise. Let's put it that way. The most suffering that would have happened wouldn't have been to the US troops, wouldn't have been to the Japanese troops, wouldn't have been to the British troops, it would have been to the civilians of Japan. All those kids you care about so much, all those women who should never get raped, that would have happened. On a scale that I don't think we've... I mean, we've probably seen it, but not in a long time. Let's put it that way. The Mongols were doing some shit, you know, there's plenty of people doing some shit. But in terms of recent history, the level of that would have just been astronomical. That I don't even think we would have seen in World War I. So they ultimately stayed in one area for a long time. They didn't really go too deep into each other's territory. But to send your army in and be completely defeating your enemy in their home turf, those civilians, it's the same way the Russians completely raped the German population and vice versa. That would have happened with us to Japan. But Ninja, we're the good guys. Okay, if you say so. Even if only 10% of our troops did those atrocities, imagine how many that is. Again, that's where it's just someone who hasn't really thought about it too lot, but they hear nukes are bad, and they, again, I always talk about those simple arguments that people attach on that sound good on the surface, but when you really think about it, it's not. They're like, nukes are bad, never should be used, but in the case of that, yeah, probably was a good thing, actually. It sucks to say, it sucks to be those civilians getting blown up, no fucking doubt about it, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a harsh thing to say, but, you know, sometimes the truth is harsh, unfortunately. Wish the world was different, but it is not.
We have the Imperials in back.
I like Russians. I have nothing against Russians. I don't like their political alignment right now, but in terms of Russians, I have no problem with them. And how small is Okinawa compared to the entirety of Japan? Like, it's just like, holy fuck, man. Think of how the world would be different if we invaded. How many of us talking right now would not be alive because our ancestors died and couldn't plant their seed and continue the family name? Like, it would just be so different. Well, anyway, it's time to get off. I'm going to go get some food. I'm glad I can make you all sad today. So, bye. See you guys later. It was fun. Good conversations. Bye. Bye, everybody. Don't cancel me. Too late.